Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Starmade and our little Monopoly game. Unfortunately, in the last week I didn't really know what we could go for and I didn't really fancy playing, but this morning I woke up and I thought, hey, I want to do the next part of the freaking Monopoly project. So for today's episode, I actually decided to go with the chances and community cards, because that was something that I had to wrap my head around and kind of think of a nifty solution. So this is the functionality for either the chances or the community cards, and we're gonna do the same thing mirrored on the opposite side, just so you know how the functionality works. But right now we can choose between 11 different cards right here, and we choose them randomly by pressing right here, and this is the reset button. So of course if a player comes to a question mark right here, such as the yellow player, they can then go ahead and press the respective buttons and check what they got or have to pay, you know. Anyways, I do not want to make too many of those guys. Yeah, let's deactivate the production for the time being. I want to split this up and get this into my inventory. Also, I'm gonna need a little bit of sand, and I do have the activation modules, so that's great. So 10 characters, 5x5. Let's actually set this up quickly. So there we go, I have my 5x5 frame. What we want to do is actually one block behind it add... Oh no, I don't want to hook those guys up. But I do want to add a bunch of activation modules right here. So we're gonna do the first row and then add all of the others. No, actually, well, we can do it this way. That's fine, but we will have to hook up all the lamps in the front. So we will have to click C and attach the light. I also want to deactivate it actually, so C, attach, deactivate. Let me quickly do that. And there we go. All the lamps are hooked up and we can now copy this over. So this is too thick, is this? No, that's the wrong one. We want to go 5, 6, 7, I guess, right here. Actually, I only want to go 6, but I want to go 2 into the set direction and also 7 up here. Yeah, that seems about right. So let's go ahead and choose the copy mode where we can pick an area. We're gonna pick this area. And then I guess we will have to remove this layer in order for it to function, right? So let's paste it and... oh no, what is happening? Can I not attach it right here? This looks weird. Look at that, the frame looks alright, but the blocks preview doesn't. Ah, okay, I see. We could do it the opposite way, but then I would have to pick another area. So let's try this again. This time we're gonna pick this area, okay? And now we can paste it just like so. Yeah, that's great. Oh man, sometimes copy-paste isn't as easy as you would think. There we go. Okay, this worked out. Let's place 10 of our displays. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful. Great. Of course, we are also gonna need a little bit of an encasement, so I'm thinking of just doing something like that. Was this too far? No, that was actually quite good. Okay, how about that? Then I also attached a couple of buttons. So we're gonna have activation modules in order to activate the stuff. Do I? Yeah, I want to make sure that we have the correct symmetry here. And I also want a button to reset. So just in case you are wondering, this is a random card selector basically, and depending on the time when the player hits this thing, it will stop at a certain card, which is gonna display something right here. And if you want to continue the game, you just reset the stuff and then the random timer continues. So it's very simple, but it's still gonna be nice because we can visually represent the cards and the players don't have, for instance, to read them from a log. Good. Next up, we want to set up the rails, I would suggest. And for that, I want to go out a little bit so the cabling can be done nicely, as you can see right here. So we're gonna go out from this block, and I would say, I think I went 10 blocks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Yeah, look at that. That's the same spot. Good. Right here, I want to start with 2 buttons. We're gonna have them like so, and then we're gonna set up the rails. So how many cards are we gonna have? I started with 11, just because I thought that would be a good number. So maybe let's just restrict ourselves to this number. We're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'm gonna need a buffer block at the beginning, so we're gonna do 12, and I'm gonna need a buffer block at the end. So that's the 13th block that is facing into the other direction. Then we're gonna have the same setup on this side, so 2 buttons. The first button is gonna activate the second button, same thing right here. And this second button we are gonna hook up to a rail. Right here, of course, it's going to have to be facing into this direction, and right here into the other direction. We want to hook all the rails up except the last one. Same thing to this button, all rails except this and the last one. Okay, great. With that out of the way, I think we can already go ahead and actually create a new ship core. We should totally do that. Ship core, and I'm also going into build mode and attach another rail docker at the bottom. So there you go, buddy. And we also want to get that into our hotbar and attach it to the actual rail. So let's get up here, and there we go. Beautiful. Okay, I quickly need to get back to my build block. Okay, and here we have our little buddy going back and forth, and you can see the system is already working beautifully. Somebody asked me why I have 2 buttons right here. The reason for it is because if you have a rail adjacent to the button, it can get confused. So here we have a rail that is decisively the rail that the button will choose to interact with the other rails. Just as a little side note. Anyhow, what I want to do now is get up by 10 blocks. So I think, yeah, I started that at the buffer rail. So right here, I'm gonna mark my buffer rails. These are the rails that I don't want to influence, and now we're gonna build up slightly in order to add all of the AND gates. Because we want to make sure that the player actually activated the contraption, and also at the same time the rail should come to a halt, and wherever it is at a halt, an AND gate will activate. So there we go. I think this is the spot. Let's add all the AND gates. How many do I still have? Where are they even? Delay and signals. There we go. We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. Okay, that added up. Of course, at the bottom we're gonna have a bunch of activation modules. Those guys are just gonna activate as soon as the rail comes across them, and we want to hook them up to our AND gates right here. This will give off a nice pattern, and we are gonna keep the overview as good as possible. Also, what we want to do is hook up this thing to all the buttons. So this is once again another one of these big buttons where you don't have to aim too carefully in order to activate the contraption. And we want to also hook up this guy right here to all of our AND gates. So only if this thing is activated, then the AND gates are going to activate when the rail comes across the lower activation module. Also, this guy right here, we want to hook up to another basic rail, and I think, in which direction did I make this face? Towards the inside. So we're gonna do the same thing here. It's facing towards the inside, the middle of the contraption, and this button is basically gonna reset all of the rails except the far left and far right ones. But it is also going to be hooked up to this guy right here, so in case this one here is active, for instance, then we can reset it with the button as well. Good, then we need to have one more security measure in order to be able to actually stop the timer here at the bottom, and for that I'm just gonna attach a couple of rails to these AND gates. So as soon as we activate the AND gates, the lower rail is gonna be facing towards another direction, making it impossible for the rail to continue. So there we go, I have hooked them all up. Let's test it out. Look at that, I pressed the button and it stopped at the 4th option right here. And if we press the reset button, then it will deactivate again and everything is good. So I think with that out of the way, we already did all of the mechanics. Now we can actually go for the cards. And I prepared a little something here. Let me actually quickly check. So the first card is gonna be back 3, which basically means go back 3 spaces. And I want to write this right here. I want to have my chances here and the community cards right there. Now, of course, to make it as convenient for the player as possible, we want to make sure that the last letter of the word is right here and everything else goes kind of towards the back, and right here we can start with the first letters. So the community cards are gonna be a little bit easier to spell, but I have to do everything mirrored or backwards anyway. So let's just go ahead and do the first words. Do I have the space for that? Let's see, back and then 3. Oh, we could actually write it out. We don't even have to use a number for that. Okay, that is actually great. Let's utilize the entire display for that. So this AND gate right here, oh man, this is gonna be such a mess. It's not gonna look great. What we have to do is bring this to the same level as this guy. So maybe this AND gate, we also hook up to another activation module that is on the same axis as these modules. Okay, I think I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna start right here and hook all of these guys up to a separate activation module. And this way, hopefully, I can kind of keep the overview without getting tangled up in all the cables. And we get some nice patterns going on here. Okay, there we go. So the first card was called back 3. We can actually start right here. I have the module selected and I want to make sure that we spell this correctly. Let's start with the B letter. We would want to... Oh, no. We don't want this. We want this connection, of course. So we want to hook up these guys right here, then the center one, and then we do this and this right here. And this will result in the letter B, hopefully. It's kind of hard to judge, but yeah, look at that. I think that was a good decision. Let's see if it is really a letter B. Yeah, look at that. It is really a letter B. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be so great. Okay, now we have to do the letter A, which is this, this all the way up. No, not all the way up. We want to do this, that, and that. Okay, back. Then we need a C, which we start right here. We go up. Then we go towards the back, down, and here and there. Okay, back. So we need a K next, which obviously starts right here with basically everything. And from the inside we go out and out, like so. Great, then the T should be simple enough, right? Actually, this might be too big of a T. And this might be too small of a T. Well, let's check it out. Let's do the H next. For that, I want something like this and something like that and that. Then we need an R. Holy Moses, how do we do this? We go down and over, I guess, something like this and then down. Oh yeah, pixel alphabet, just perfect. So we need a double E's, which we are gonna do easily. Though for this we only really need 3 spaces, so I'm thinking of doing it like this. Yeah, potentially. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, we are going to activate this module, and what does it spell? Back 3. What do you think about that? I'm unsure whether or not I should start only 3 white letters in the center or in the beginning, because we have a lot of 4 white letters, and also this T could really be a little bit bigger. What do you think? Let's see what happens if we did this. I mean, we can always fiddle around with it if we have some other complaints, right? So, what I'm thinking now is that I'm gonna set up all of the different possibilities that I think we should implement from the real game. And after that, I'm gonna present you with the results. We're only gonna do the chance cards for the time being. Alright guys, back we are, and I actually did all of the cards, all of the 11 cards that I wanted to get in the game, and look at this. This is just, it is incredibly magnificent. Can you see this? It is basically a solid wall of cables. Anyhow, let's get through all of the possibilities first so you can see what's there. We have the back 3 option, then we have the, oh, of course I have to deactivate the first one. So let's try this again. The second one is tax 500, so you just have to pay a flat 500 fine. Next up we have, oh no, it's taxes, of course. The fine is actually right here. So here you have to pay 20 for each house and 50 for each hotel you own. Next up we have get 500, so you receive a flat 500. Then we have jail out card. I still need a way to kind of implement a tracking system for how many cards a player has. But for now, this is how you would get a jail out card. Next up, we have the go start. So you have to move all the way to the start and collect the starting fee. Next up, we have tax 1000. So you have to pay a flat 1000. Then we have fix 10 and 20. So pay 10 per house and 20 per hotel. Next up, we have get 1000. Receive a flat 1000. Go to jail. Of course, that is also something we implement. And last but not least, we have next rail. So you have to go to the next rail card, which is any of the middle cards on either edge. Simple as that. Beautiful. So let's see it in action with the randomizer. If I click this, then we get the back 3 option. Let's reset it, and then, you know, some time passes, etc, etc. Another player hits the button, and this time he gets the go to the start option. Reset again. There we go. Some time passes, and what do we get next? We get the tax 500. Okay, very, very interesting. I would say that is good enough for me. Now we can also hide all of the cabling. It is not necessary to see that anymore. But before I do that, just to make sure that I know what's going on and that we have the symmetry in our favor, I want to add a bunch of activation modules here. There we go, set and done. Now I know what's going on, and we can do the same exact thing for the community cards, and I can make sure that the player is not able to actually see the logic behind it. But of course we're gonna do a much better covering up job still. But look at that, it's great, I love it. What do we get? Jail out. Yes, I received the jail out card, beautiful. Anyways guys, with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.